Rating every single arc of the Blue Lock story. That's right. Today, guys, I'm going to be rating every single arc from the first selection all the way to the NEL on how good I think it is. Now, if you guys like this type of content, please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you guys want to see me do this with another series that I've seen, comment it down below. The top comment will be the one that gets done next. Anyways, let's get right into this shit. Now, there's three things that I usually take into account when I look at a Blue Lock arc. The first one being how good the matches in this arc were compared to the matches in the other arcs. I have to see how consistently good these matches were and what peaks they reached. Next, it's how consistent the arc was. If I feel like at any point in the arc when it's just dragging along, whereas another arc is just straight banger chapter after chapter and it doesn't let you sleep until the arc is over, then I know the other one is better. Next, the peak moments of the arc. Now, these are the moments that'll make me cry, that'll make me super hype, the moments that'll get me shocked. These are the moments that I'll really look at when I look at the arc later, months down the line, years down the line, and be like, damn, like I still remember that moment. It hit me like a truck. So yeah, now that you know my criteria, let's finally get right into this. The first arc, the first selection. Now, I do feel like the first selection is a perfect, and I mean a perfect entry point for Blue Lock. The first chapter shows us exactly what we need to expect from the series. The first match shows us exactly what sort of people we're going to encounter in this facility. We see the first match with Barrow, and he just gives off this aura of, damn, like this guy is a true striker. Literally 1v20ing the entirety of the facility at this point. And you also get to see how in the first match, nobody can work together. Nobody can work together because everyone's thinking about their own gain. Until it only takes until the second match where we finally get to see a full match of actual football being played. And I feel like this is one of the best moments in this arc where Isagi finally goes through his little character arc where Barrow told him, you're not fit to be a striker because he passed in front of the net. And he also passed when he passed to his teammate back when he was facing Kira in the beginning of the series. This time, Isagi gets the ball from Bachira and instead of passing, proves to himself that he's a striker and slams the ball right into the back of the net, showing us his first goal and claiming that he is a striker. This is one of the best moments in this first selection arc, and this moment was the one that gave me chills. In the anime, every time I watch this scene, I feel like it was executed perfectly to the OST, to the animation, to the voice acting. Everything was perfect in this scene. Now, another scene that I really love about this arc is Chigiri finally running again. This whole thing with Chigiri was so compelling to me only because Chigiri is so much like me. We both had sporting past. We both had past when we were footballers. And I'm not going to try to brag, but I was pretty good back in my day. Anyways, what happened was that we both ended up getting injured and it was the exact same injury. So this character became instantly very compelling to me and very interesting when I found out that me and him are very similar. Anyways, when he finally starts to break his chains and run again, oh my goodness, did I start bawling, guys. This shit hit me like a truck simply because of how similar it was to me. Anyways, this was an amazing peak in the Blue Lock series, and to this day, I think this is one of the best peaks that Blue Lock has to offer. Fight with me on that, I don't care. And of course, the last game of this arc was the game against my favorite character, and I knew as soon as this guy stepped onto the field and scored that first goal that he was about to be one of my favorite characters. Of course, I'm talking about the game against Nagi's team and Nagi's first appearance. Anyways, when this game started, you feel the utter despair that our characters feel when they go down 3-0 right off the bat, and these guys are doing some insane shit. We then get each of them breaking their limits, fighting back into the game, only to then be caught with another right hook where Nagi ends up entering the flow state and doing some crazy shit like that. At this point, I'm like, yo, this guy's cracked. He's definitely the best player we've seen so far. He's only been playing for 6 months. His nonchalant attitude is so cool. This guy's him, right? I'm literally geeking over Nagi every single second he touches the ball. Anyways, this game, we also get to see Isagi going crazy, scoring the last goal on Nagi's head, and just the first iteration of the direct shot that we see And honestly, bro, like this whole arc and this match in general was just a beautiful showing of the indomitable human spirit that Isagi and Team Z really had. But anyways, guys, what do I really rate this arc? I've went through most of the matches in this arc, and honestly, the matches, consistency, and quality, I would say the Borrow game wasn't that interesting of a match, but it needed to be done to show our heroes the reality of what the fuck is actually Blue Lock. So it needs to be done, but it wasn't that crazy of a match. The match against Nico was a pretty good match, kept me thoroughly entertained the whole time, but it didn't really give me a real peak until the end of the match. The same thing with Chigiri's match. It was pretty surprising with Kuon's plot twist. It surprised me, I'm not gonna lie. And then Chigiri scoring, that was probably the best match up until that point, until the next match where we got an amazing match. I think that match is great. So the consistency of the matches was very good. Next, we have to look at how consistent the whole arc was. And I'm not going to lie, I don't think I was bored once reading this arc. This arc was a very interesting arc to read. Man, I don't know if it was my first time reading Blue Lock, maybe it's because of that. But I just felt so enthralled in these characters and their journeys and who's going to get eliminated, how they're going to play the next game. Like, I was just so enthralled. And then the final thing is the peak moments of the arc. I've already told you. Isagi getting his first goal. Chigiri getting his first goal. Nagi playing for the first time. Nagi getting his goddamn flow state activated. Isagi's direct shot. These are pretty good peaks, but I feel like only one stacks up to the entirety of Blue Lock, and that is the freaking Chigiri one. Personally, I'll give this arc a solid rating of a 7.7 out of 10, which on my scale equals pretty damn good. It's almost a great arc for me. Anyways, moving on to the second selection. The second selection starts off with it being a 3-on-3 contest. And we finally gain to see Isagi and Nagi on the same team for the first time in the whole series with Batra. So I was already geeking. On top of that, we get to meet new characters like Rin, Aryu, Tokimitsu, and we get to see how good these characters really are. I feel like this first match of the thing was very interesting to me because we just get to see how good Rin is compared to Nagi. Like, we just seen Nagi last game and thought he was an absolute monster, but then we see Rin and we're like, damn, there's literally levels to this shit. We need to get better. So yeah, that's exactly what Isagi does in this arc, where he climbs up teammate by teammate, rebuilding himself over and over again and getting a lot better towards the time where he gets back into the last match of this whole freaking second selection and ends up being able to actually go blow for blow with Rin, which is absolute insane character development, character progression. On top of this, we get moments like the game against Rio, where Barrow is absolutely dealing with the craziest conflict ever. The game against Naruhaya, where you can actually feel for Naruhaya when he loses. The second selection arc was really peak, and I mean really peak. How good were the matches in this arc? This arc was definitely way more consistent than the first selection. Now let me tell you why. It's because every single twist and turn, when we got down to two people, we thought that there was an actual way that Isagi's team would lose. I'm not gonna lie. Every single twist and turn, I was literally like, damn, on the edge of my seat, sitting and asking myself, oh my god, they might lose here. And then Isagi does some crazy shit, or Nagi does some crazy shit, and they end up winning. On top of that, I really hate these shonen tropes where the character loses, then comes back. I don't hate it, but it's so overdone to the point where I'm kind of sick of it. Like, you can sort of predict it when a character loses to a big antagonist and then has the goal to get back up to fight them. You know they're going to beat them the second time. But that didn't happen in this arc, which is a very interesting thing to me. It's very interesting that Isagi was not just able to get better and better and better and be able to beat Rin to a factor of luck, which does happen in reality sometimes. So I really love that portion of the arc. Anyways, the matches were peak. Considering probably the second selection match is probably a top 5, top 3. One of my top 3 probably favorite matches in all of Blue Lock so far, with so many peak moments of every character's goal in that match, except for probably Chigiri's. On top of that, we get Isagi literally tearing Barrow down for what he did to in the first selection. It's a pretty good, very good moment in Blue Lock too. So we have to look at the consistency of the arc. I literally didn't put my phone down. Peak consistently. And then peak moments of the arc, I already said, Rin scoring the last goal, Isagi blocking Bachara, like just so many peak moments in this arc. It's hard to name, but I'd say my favorites would definitely be every single Nagi moment and every single Isagi moment. Just two characters absolutely going back and forth on who is really the star of this team and them just being an amazing duo. Overall, I'd give the second selection a grand rating of a perfect 9 out of 10. Now, why would I not give it a 10? And why would I give it a 9 out of 10? Well, that's simply because I know now, and you guys know now, that Blue Lock peaks higher than this. The next arc we're going to be doing is the third selection. And guys, I'm going to keep it short and simple here. I didn't really enjoy this arc that much. It's not like this arc was trash. This arc was just alright. Yeah, we finally get introduced to Shido and how he plays. Him and Rin had their whole disruption. But it's not like it doesn't hit as hard as the other arcs. I'm pretty sure the author knows it wasn't supposed to hit that hard. This was kind of just a prep for U20. For that, I'm going to give it a high rating of a 6.8 out of 10, which on my scales thinks it as an alright arc. When I think of this arc, I think, oh, it's an alright arc. It's not trash, it's just alright. We only get to see really 2 matches in this whole arc. Not really that much of a big arc I think the author intended to hit us with. And we're finally at the one that probably everyone clicked on the video for. What do I rate the U20 arc? Now, starting off, this arc is the most grandiose out of every arc in the series so far, and you can really feel that with every passing chapter giving you the butterflies in your belly about if our heroes, Isagi and them, are about to win. Because this match actually features Rin's brother, the brother that Rin's been mentioning since he got introduced that he will destroy. So you're very curious to see how their interactions would go. We end up finding out in the match that they also have a great defender named Aiku, who is going to be very hard to score on. And these Japanese guys just aren't scrubs. Like, they're actually struggling with them for a little bit. As you can see, that their defense is not that bad. Although the problem arises with their striker, and yeah, Sendo was kind of just selling the clip this whole fucking game. But then when U20 really scored that first goal, it's just like, damn, they already scored. We're about to get slapped. But Blue Lock don't lose their edge, and my GOAT finishes. He finishes. The quote he says before he finishes is absolutely insane too, because he says, I think he says, "Hello world. My name is Nagi Seishiro," and scores. Oh my goodness, Nagi is cold as hell. Not to mention Rin's Travella goal. I get it, this goal wasn't meant to be the craziest goal or the biggest moment for him, but I'm glad he scored. I was just like, damn, okay, Rin scored, nice. Then the third goal of this match and fourth goal of this match where Shido scores just flips the game on its head. I'm not gonna lie. I went into the halftime thinking, okay, yeah, we're so good. We're chilling. We're relaxing right now. There's no way that they come back into this game, and then they come back into this game in a matter of 10 to 13 minutes, and Shido's just roaring, doing some of the most amazing stuff you've seen throughout the whole series. Now, this is where the match truly turns from almost perfect to a perfect match, because this last final stretch of when Baro gets into the game and you see his utter anger be visualized through his lightning, and he just hops into the game, causes havoc, and then eventually gets his goal. Oh my gosh, sign me up, because I was jumping around, throwing my shit around just like him. Next, the last part of the arc where the game is tied up in the last goal will win them the whole thing. We get this back and forth between Sei and Rin until Rin finally enters that destroyer mode. What a final little passage of this arc where Rin is running past everyone. The field is in complete chaos. He takes a shot against 2 of the flow state people we've seen in this match, and he misses, causing Itoshi Sei to go on the counter, go 1v1 with Rin for an entire chapter, which is what we've been waiting for. And then finally, Rin gets the deflection, but the ball bounces over Aiku, and our hero, Isagi Yoichi, gets the ball in the perfect area, and we see the luck panel, the parallel to Rin, where as he shoots the ball into the back of the net, we have no dialogue for this entire chapter. He goes to celebrate with the team, grabs the mic from the interview and says, "I will win Japan the U20 World Cup." In terms of how consistent this match is, and I kid you not, once you read this, there is not a single bad chapter in this whole arc. I don't even think there's a single bad page. They did a great job with not boring you with over information. They did a great job with just keeping this game live. They did a great job with every attack being a significant attack where something big happens and gets you hyped for the defense. It's just crazy the way this game flowed back and forth. The conflicts at play in this game made it even better. So the consistency of the arc is absolutely amazing. And since it's just one match, the consistency of the match is also the best we've seen in the series so far. As for peaks, the best peaks we've seen in all of Blue Lock since this. We haven't reached this level since this, which is very, very, very crazy because I really do hope that we reach these same peaks in the U20 World Cup arc because, not gonna lie, U20 was just an honestly perfect arc. If I was to name flaws in this arc, I don't think I could because every character was involved in a significant way. Everyone had their moment. The art was brilliant. The game brought tension. The game was unpredictable. It was just an amazing arc through and through, bit by bit. Every detail, every minute detail was perfect about this arc. So if you guys didn't guess before, I'm giving the U20 arc a 10 out of 10. Moving on to the NEL. You guys don't know this, but the screenshots I've seen of the NEL before I even read Blue Lock was why I wanted to read Blue Lock. I'm a huge football fan, or I'm not a huge one, but I really love football as a sport. I've been watching ever since I was a kid. So when I seen these characters in goddamn Manchester City jerseys and Barcelona jerseys, I was just like, wait a minute, what's going on in the series? So I became really intrigued. And the start of the NEL, it had a very big catching up to do and to keep the carry attention of the U20 arc, but it did just that. The beginning of this arc is just great when they're choosing where they want to go, to Kunigami coming back into the story, to just Kaiser being introduced, the new Gen 11, and you're just like, damn, like you feel like Isagi's climbed a huge mountain up until this point, and then there's another mountain right behind that where he has to climb it again, which is a good thing that I think the author did, which keeps us intrigued on how he's going to pass this challenge. Now, I think the problem that arises the NEL arc is the freaking 3-goal system and how these matches work. Previously, the author would put the goal, like, if there was a cap on how many goals you could score or how much time you could play for, time doesn't really play much of a difference in how many goals they can score. But in the second selection, when the goals were 5 goals and you win the match, and there was 2 players on the team, it made it really unpredictable on who would score the next goal. You know what I mean? Sometimes people would score 2 in a row. Sometimes people would score 3 in a row. You know, it's very unpredictable. But when you have 11 people on the team, 3 stars, and the game's up to 3, and you need the main character's team to win here, you know who's going to score in these matches. So that's basically what I'm saying. I feel like the NEL feels really unpredictable. Like, the rest of these arcs weren't that predictable, but the NEL feels very predictable. And I'm not saying this author's fault, but I think it's the fault of his rules of this thing, that it's only up to 3 goals, which means only 3 characters on the other team. So let me give you an example. Let's say PXG. There's already 2 goal scorers on PXG. If PXG are going to lose, these 2 people are 1,000,000% scoring the goals. It's going to be 3-2, and Shido and Rin are going to score goals. That is the only 2 people on PXG who are going to score. Whereas if we look in the second selection, the game's up to 5. We have, let's say, Nagi, Baro, and Isagi on the same team. Bro, Nagi and Isagi scored twice, and Baro only scored 1 goal. If you were just look at that, you're like, oh shit, yo, Baro's scoring 2 goals, you know what I mean? But he doesn't, because there's another storyline going on the whole match entirely. But yeah, I really do feel that the NEL had become very predictable, and I feel like that brings down the quality of each of the matches. That said, the peaks of the NEL are very high peaks in terms of the series, where we have Nagi's 5-shot revolver, we have Baro's gamble shot, we have Kaiser's bicycle kick, and now we have the two-gun volley, Kaiser's Magnus. The peaks in this arc are very, very high. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the biggest peaks are, you know, Isagi gaining Metavision and shit. These are some of the biggest peaks in the entire series. But the thing is, I feel like they just don't hold the same emotional weight the other ones held. Like, I don't get that same feeling I did when Shigiri broke his chains, and it's emotionally connected to me. On top of that, it's giving me hype at the same time. At this point, I'm just getting hyped for these things. You know what I mean? I'm not really that emotionally invested, which is, I don't know why. I hope we get fixed in the next arc. Overall, how consistent is this arc? I'm not gonna lie, once you read this arc in full, not weekly, it's pretty consistent. I don't think it has many bad chapters, and even when the games are predictable, it's still entertaining. Like, it's not ever like boring, like, damn, I don't want to read this shit no more. It's never like that. But I will say it doesn't reach the heights of U20. I wouldn't even say it's on the level of the second selection. But due to its peaks, I will say it's better than the third selection and the first selection. So I'm going to give the NEL a rating of 7.8. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Again, if you guys want me to do this for other series, if I read it, I will do the top comment under this video. So just place the top comment what you want me to do. Everyone like that shit up, and I'll drop a video on that ASAP. Anyways, hope you guys have a great day, and goodbye.